Hey everyone, James Azar here with CyberHub Engage. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2019, and here are your 60 seconds of cyber. Coming out of the weekend, the biggest news story in cybersecurity and privacy world was the FTC fine on Facebook for $5 billion for the Cambridge Analytica situation, or privacy breach, as some would call it. This $5 billion actually amounts to a fraction of what Facebook earns, since in the first quarter of 2019, Facebook earned $15 billion in just the first quarter. In other news, Sprint has informed people that there has been a breach through the Samsung.com Add a Line website. Again, a third-party supply chain risk that's exposed users' account numbers, device information, call records, etc. More on that later this week as we continue to investigate the news from Sprint this morning. Sprint, a big wireless carrier in the US. And finally, aviation. As someone who travels often, and today I'm in a different place than I normally am, as you can tell I'm not in our studio, the aviation industry, a company that provides IT solutions for over 500 airlines on their booking software, Amadeus IT Group, has reported that they had a vulnerability which was since patched. However, this vulnerability allowed people to download and have live boarding passes so that they can actually get into the perimeter of airports without really having a flight to go to. This specific vulnerability has been patched, but it continues to show the existing risks that exist within the supply chain, and we'll try to cover more of that in the next CyberHub Engage podcast. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe and share. Hey everyone, good morning. James Azar here with CyberHub Engage. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, 2019, and here are your 60 seconds of cyber for today. Broadcom has pulled out of the Symantec bid to acquire Symantec, bringing shockwaves to the cybersecurity industry, with this latest acquisition falling apart just weeks after rumors started spreading about it. 2.2 million further people have been impacted by the AMCA breach that happened last month that impacted LabCorp and so many others. AMCA has since filed for bankruptcy protection, specifically because of the breach and how unequipped they are to handle the financial dealings that come with it as well. And finally, in our headline story for today, the country of Bulgaria has suffered its worst data breach in recent history when the Bulgarian IRS authorities' entire servers were breached and accessed, and all the taxpayer database was downloaded and put on the dark web. So far, we've seen very little action with the data that's been put up for sale on the dark web. Bulgaria is a very small country out in the Eastern Bloc of Europe. More on this story later in the podcast this week, so make sure you subscribe, follow, and share. That's it for today. Be back with more tomorrow. Hey everyone, James Azar here with CyberHub Engage. Today is Thursday, July 18th, 2019, and here are your 60 seconds of cyber. The Bulgarians have already arrested the alleged hacker that we reported on yesterday for the IRS breach in the country of Bulgaria and Eastern Europe. The hacker, a 20-year-old white hat hacker, is now facing 8 years in prison for this specific breach. In other news, hackers and exploiters are taking advantage of credit card data to add it to Apple Pay and then use the cards through Apple Pay in order to utilize the credit cards that they are stealing and skimming. So there are works in the process of how to address this specific vulnerability. A lot of people are looking at Apple for a solution for it. And in one last piece of news, yesterday we spoke of how Broadcom suspended its bid to acquire Symantec. The cybersecurity industry has seen a ton of consolidation over the last year or so, and it continues to be so. Many people believe this Broadcom suspension of talks over pricing is just a temporary stop in an inevitable deal for Broadcom. That's it for today. Make sure you share, subscribe, and like our videos. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, have a great rest of the week, folks.